Welcome to week 2. Why is Impact so good? Once again, this is Javier Draven's cover of We Own the Night. It's not stealing. He has given me permission. And again, at Wrestling Covers on Twitter, and he is Javier Draven on YouTube. What is up, everybody? This is week 2 of Why is Impact so good? I don't know why it's so good. I'm going to tell you why I think it's so good. I've started to do this because, like I said, I think Impact has been on fire lately. Everything they do. I am actually just as excited to watch this show every Tuesday as I am every Wednesday watching the All Elite Wrestling, as well as All Elite Wrestling pay-per-views. Also, I'm just excited watching Impact pay-per-views, the ones they do on Impact Plus, and the standalone pay-per-views like Rebellion coming up in April. So real quick, I'm not going to give you the runaround. I'm just going to get right into it because I've messed up this intro 5 times in a row. As you can see, I'm wearing Moose's shirt this week. I've been waiting all week to get this shirt on in front of everybody. This is the first time I've wore it. So I bought a Josh Alexander shirt for $5 off of shopimpact.com. They didn't have the shirt. So the guy called me from the warehouse. He did not want to process a refund because he's like, well, we don't have that shirt. Do you want a different size? I said, no. He's like, well, how about I just give you 2 Moose shirts, because that way I don't have to do paperwork. So I was like, hell yeah, I'll take 2 Moose shirts. Well, this is one of them. So here we go. He is, by the way, he's an official world champion, official recognized TNA champion. So moving on, the recap from the start of Impact. Why is Impact so good? I'm about to tell you. I'm going to try to do it quicker than I did last week, because like I said, I don't want to bore you to death. I want to get people into Impact, so I want to tell them why it's awesome. They did a recap between Moose and Rich Swann. As you all know, Moose and Rich Swann are the 2 now recognized Impact champions. The Impact champion, Rich Swann, and the now officially recognized TNA World Champion, Moose. And there goes some commercial ads on the back. Alright, so they did a recap of Moose attacking him last week. And finally, we have coming up March 13th, that's next weekend, not this Saturday, next weekend, we have a show coming up on Impact Plus. It's standalone, it's a pay-per-view, and for Impact Plus members, and it is going to be finally the show off. The show off. Finally, the match itself between Moose and Rich Swann. Can Moose become the next double champion in the world of wrestling? I think so. It's a great time to be a fan of Moose. Now, the first match, again, started off hot. This show started with a banger. It was Taurus, Black Taurus from AAA, and it was versus Chris Bey versus Chris Austin. Sorry, Chris Austin. Ace Austin, the winner, would get a one-on-one championship opportunity with TJP for the X Division Championship. I thought, since it was Tuesday, that Chris Bey was finally going to get his one-on-one match for the Impact Championship, or sorry, X Division Championship, since he lost it. He has not had a single one-on-one match for the Impact X Division Championship since he lost. But Chris Bey is the hottest thing they have going on. But also Ace Austin's pretty darn good himself, so it was a great match, awesome match. If you weren't a fan of Black Taurus before you started seeing him on Impact, you need to watch Impact for this guy. Awesome. He wears a nice mask with horns and everything. It's a matador. It is great. Taurus versus Bey versus Ace, another banger. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it was awesome. X Division is their bread and butter. It is just like the tag division in AEW, the women's division in Impact and NXT. It is just like, you know, the heavyweights division in WWE main roster and New Japan. That is their bread and butter right there, the X Division. Anyway, moving on, I think it was D'Lo Brown that compared Michael Jordan to Chris Bey. First of all, don't you ever disrespect the GOAT, Chris Bey, like that. Again, Michael Jordan has nothing on Chris Bey. So I just wanted to clear that up with you, D'Lo. Moving on, Taurus, he had the power in that match. So as Ace Austin and Chris Bey were doing all the flippy flips, guess who was also doing that? Black Taurus, but he also has some power behind him. So actually, he was a strong favorite going into that match. But in the end, with the help of Fulton, who I actually like, he came from WWE and NXT, as you remember. He was an original member of Sanity. He is also with Ace Austin, and Ace, of course, had to help get help from Fulton. And also during the match, not only did D'Lo disrespect him once, Chris Bey, but then he said that he had to outthink Ace Austin to win the match, to have a chance. So again, D'Lo Brown disrespecting Chris Bey as if he can't out wrestle or keep up to pace with Ace Austin. No, but in the end, I guess D'Lo was right because he needed a little extra something to get over the hump, and Ace Austin got the win. So Ace Austin will be going to have a one-on-one with TJP for the X Division Championship. Ace is a star. I love the guy, so I'm not going to complain much. Then there was Grace and Jazz, number 1 contender segment in the backstage area. Of course, interrupted by my favorite women's tag team, Knockouts tag team in Impact. It was Fire and Flava. It was Kiera Hogan, and it was Tasha Steelz. And that... I forget what actually happened in that segment, but I will tell you that it set up a match for later in the evening. It was no longer going to be a... that's what it was. It was Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo in the main event, but Kiera Hogan got her way into that match just by interrupting a promo. Apparently, that's how you do it. Moving on, it was Brian Myers and Matt Cardona backstage. Best buddies off the court, I guess I would call it. Off the court, off the mats. But enemies on Impact right now, that's another reason to watch this show. It's actually great. And you know they're best friends in real life, but just seeing them interact on the show as enemies is awesome. And of course, Matt Cardona had a special guest referee opportunity tonight when the match versus Myers and Eddie Edwards happened later in the night. Then we had Tenille, who tried to steal Havoc last week from Nevaeh, who said she needed some time off. Well, Havoc didn't like that too much. She has a little assistant, Tenille does, called Caleb with a K. So she tried to get Havoc and call her Havoc with a K to brand her that way. Didn't work. So obviously the match was pretty decent. But in the end, Tenille gets the victory all by herself. Didn't need any help from Caleb with the K. Or did she? You'll have to tune in, I guess. But Nevaeh, who I thought was going to be gone a while, she said she needed some time away. Nevaeh came back. So that was cool. I'm a big fan of Nevaeh. She's probably my, in my top 3 knockouts in that company, and there's a lot to choose from. So just saying top 3 is no small feat. Moving on, Sammy had a backstage segment, and he's in a little feud with Trey Miguel. If you don't know who Trey Miguel is, get on the train. You want to be on the Trey train. Trust me. Very good wrestler. A lot of you might know who MSK is by now if you watch NXT. He was actually the 3rd member with those 2 guys, and they were called the Rascals on Impact. So now it's just Trey Miguel. I'm glad that they got him back, because at first there was some speculation that all 3 were going to leave the company. MSK obviously is on NXT doing very well for themselves, but it looks like Trey going up into a matchup sooner or later with Sami Callihan, which is one of their bigger names, so I look forward to big things from him as well. Eric Young and Deaner backstage. Deaner was getting initiated by Joe Doring. I guess it looked like, and they took him out of the picture after Eric Young kind of gave him a pep talk, and looks like Joe Doring beat him against the wall 4 times, and that was it. But it looked like some type of initiation for Deaner. I like this whole thing with Deaner and Eric Young and Joe Doring, because you would think that Eric Deaner would get the short straw with that situation, but he's not. They're actually showcasing him pretty well. He's the lesser name by far of the 3 of those wrestlers, and he's just not, looked at as just another member of a 3-person stable. He's actually getting a lot of time, and it looks like a lot of this is built around Deaner, so big things going forward for Deaner as well. Then there was a paid ad by Tony Khan. Love Tony Khan, but this is not an AEW review. This is why his Impact so good. And so I will tell you all about that promo, that paid ad, in our AEW Dynamite review on our channel as well. Then there was a Moose promo. Moose has had enough. Moose, why is there so many commercials going on behind me? Anyway, Moose has had enough. Moose is ready to be a double world champion. He's always wanted to be the world champion. He finally got recognized as a world champion, but that's not going to stop him. He's going for another one. Next match, it was a tag team match. You NJPW fans, any New Japan fans, you have FinJuice in there, and they were teaming with the Good Brothers, who, as you know, it's one of those things where this isn't going to work. They're going to try and steal the spotlight from each other. It's not going to work. I like it. It's a great dynamic. Another crossover star tag team coming over. So you knew that the Good Brothers and FinJuice wouldn't work together seamlessly against Triple XL and Reno Scum, who I really liked, like I said last week, how Reno Scum looks and how that one guy's hair is. I really like their look. But they're nowhere near the expertise of Good Brothers and FinJuice to where they can even win a match together without having much cohesion. So as you saw at the end, the referees raising their hands and they kept trying to get in front of each other over and over. It was fun. It was fun. It looks like sooner or later we're also going to get a match between them 2. In fact, I think that was scheduled for next weekend. But I think Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay just went back to Japan. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work. man, those guys are traveling like crazy. Then we had a Rebellion promo. That's the promo for the pay-per-view coming up in April. This is not an Impact Plus pay-per-view. This is one that people who are not Impact Pack Plus members are going to have to buy, like me. I will be buying it. Anyway, Finjuice and Good Brothers are arguing backstage, and like I said, it sets up a match for them at the next pay-per-view on Impact Plus. Then we had the match I mentioned earlier. Matt Cardona was a special guest referee, and he called it right down the middle versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. Brian Myers threw something into his elbow pad. He struck Eddie Edwards with it. He thought he could pull the wool over Matt Cardona's eyes. He did not. He got disqualified. Eddie Edwards wins the match. I'm a big fan of Eddie Edwards, but that was really it. Not much to say about that match. It was one I was looking forward to, and it kind of was good, but it just wasn't long enough. But again, the show is awesome just because of the names they're getting out of this now. Brian Myers, although looked at as a joke in WWE, is actually a really good wrestler, and Eddie Edwards is one of the stars of Impact, and he's been there for a long time. So just getting those two in the ring together with Matt Cardona and some more star power is another reason why Impact is so awesome. And finally, at the end of the night, it was Deonna in a promo. It was a Deonna promo versus Jordynne Grace, and then we finally had the main event. And as y'all know, the main event was pretty good. Who do you think won that match? So this is the third time that Deonna Purrazzo has been in a match with Jordynne Grace where a fall has occurred between one of those two, where Deonna has gotten the victory 3 times in a row. That's right, Deonna got the pinfall this time. I believe the first 2 times, one when she won the belt, one when she beat Jordynne Grace in the rematch, and she has beaten Jordynne Grace now with a pinfall. What more does Deonna Purrazzo have to do to prove that she is above the level of Jordynne Grace? Again, I praised Jordynne Grace last week. I do not hate her at all. But I'm a big fan of Deonna, and I'm a big fan of Kiera, but we knew Kiera was just kind of thrown in there to maybe be a reason why Deonna doesn't beat Grace again for a one-on-one. So hopefully that doesn't lead to a 4th time between those two, because I think as long as Deonna has the belt, that Jordynne Grace shouldn't get another shot. But again, it's to have a main event, a triple threat women's division knockouts championship with the knockouts champion and 2 others. I thought that was great. So Impact is great for that reason as well. So there it is. I've tried to give you kind of a quick rundown this week. It's a lot shorter than last week. Not a lot shorter. 12 and a half minutes. But that is why Impact is so great. Guys, for 10 years, I cannot say this enough. For 10 years, I made fun of people who watched Impact. Or TNA, as you used to call it. It is not the same Impact. I cannot say this any more than I've already said it on Twitter at InterviewPrince. If you don't follow me and you somehow found me on YouTube, but I think most of you come from Twitter. But I cannot say it enough. This company has come a long way. If it made someone like me who hated this show, well, hated it because I wasn't watching it, but they slowly over time got better, and now they're on fire to where I'm just as excited to watch them as I am AEW. Guys, if you're AEW fans, if you're NJPW fans, you are going to love this company. So please, give it a shot. At least listen to my reviews for 10 minutes at a time. That's how I started watching Impact. I started watching Chris Bay matches because I found out that Chris Bay got signed a year ago during the pandemic, and I was very excited about that, so I just started watching his matches. I started slow. So just start out watching the guys you know. That's it. Give it a chance. Though, at least give it a chance. Give it a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, and hopefully you guys enjoy it beyond that. So again, that's all I got for this week. Enjoy the show. We'll talk to you later. And again, Javier Draven song, I did not steal this. Have a good night.